I've got some built-up rage today.
That's how it starts. The fever. The rage. That turns good men.
For a new mock draft that just came out, Jordan Reid. Oh, let's go, baby. It's going to be crazy, ESPN. Always sitting it up with the bangers. Look at it. It's Mel Kiper himself. He's ready for some rage, too. I think this guy's ready for some rage as well. He's mad. Oh, baby. We are looking for men. Women, you're excluded, I guess. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. The Tai Chi program. I have no idea why I'm getting an ad for this. Maybe it's because they know I'm a ninja. Look at it. Oh, look at that. You ain't going to mess with me. I'm G-Sling. I do my thing, man. I'm the toughest dude you'll ever meet. That is hilarious. I look like this guy. Totally. I got that. I need to hit the gym more. We're going to get into this here. The mock draft here with the fever, with the rage. New York Jets, Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall, 0-6. I hate to see this right here. But if you're picking number 1 overall, you got to go quarterback. Whether or not Fernando Mendoza is a number 1 overall pick is a really good question. I think he's a good quarterback, and I think he reminds me a lot of it like a Jared Goff type of quarterback meets Matt Ryan, like something like that. He can read the football field at a high level, and if you have a good supporting cast around him, which the Jets actually have a good football team, they could really, if Mendoza came in here day one, I think he would be able to take this team to the playoffs and be a very competing team. I think we need some help with coaching right now, and I do expect things to get a little bit better as we go along. It is tough when you're a first-year head coach, Aaron Glenn. Mendoza from the IU Hoosiers, let's go. I think this would be fine. I still like some other quarterbacks a little bit more for the upside, but we've done the whole upside thing in the past, and it hasn't worked out because we end up just trading that quarterback to another team, and then they get that upside. So there's that. I'm definitely not going to hate this one. I give it a solid B for the Jets, and getting a quarterback is a must. I still don't like this as the Ravens picking number 2 overall. I'm assuming they are based off Super Bowl odds or something like that. Draft orders based on standings as of today. Personally, I think the Ravens are going to get it together. Lamar Jackson coming back after the bye, and their schedule, too, is not too hard. All right, they play the Bengals twice. They play the Steelers twice. They play the Bengals and Browns, twice. And even beyond that, they play the Jets, so they don't have the toughest schedule. I expect Lamar to come back with some more fever and rage. Oh, man, what am I doing with all this fever and rage? Woo! But I love this one, though, for the Ravens. If they are picking at number 2, Ruben Bain, that's exactly what they need, some pain off the edge. See, we got it all today. We got all the jokes, all the dad jokes. I love it. A+. That would be an easy maneuver. Cleveland, they go and take a quarterback, too. They go back to Oregon. Dante Moore, the quarterback there, who had a down week versus IU. That defense, though, don't discount that defense. They are playing so well. They're just such a well-rounded football team. And with Dante Moore, it wasn't like he made a ton of bad decisions. He just was seemed slow with his processor. Credit to the Hoosiers defense once again for making it tough on him. But at the same time, he just didn't look comfortable at all in the pocket. Some of it was on the offensive line, and some of it was on him. And some of that is where it's like, it's a tough game, and I get that, but definitely see more from Dante Moore and how he bounces back from that scenario. The arm talent is still pretty dang good. He's got all the tools. He had that one deep ball. There was a beautiful pass early in the game. So you definitely know there's a lot there with Dante Moore for the Browns. I'm okay with this one. I give it a solid B+. Once again, I still like Sorsby a lot. I like Mensa a lot. I mean, those are some dudes I really like. Ty Simpson's neck and neck with these guys. I really think Simpson might be the best quarterback in this class right now, just strictly on paper. We'll see. Cleveland, they need a quarterback. As I mentioned, I'll give it a B+. Well, at least if you're picking number 3, still want to see Shedeur. On to the Titans. Keldrick Folk, the pass rusher, Auburn. I would rather go. I'd rather go Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson. I still can't get that on my head. I'm sorry, but Jordan Tyson would be a nice pick here for the Titans. Keldrick Folk is also a solid pick. I just feel like it's a little bit high. And considering you got Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson available, go get a number 1 wide receiver in this offense. It definitely will help out. Cam Ward needs some help. Give him some help. Miami, Caleb Downs. He's a good football player, but I'd rather take Arvell Reese. Or Arvell Reese will help stop that run game in a snitch. And, not like the show. But I think that Downs is a good football player, too. And it just comes down to Where do they want to improve this team? There's so many areas that they can improve. The secondary is a big part of that, and they've got a lot of weaknesses there. Minkah Fitzpatrick is under contract. However, I still think that they could use another piece there. Do I want to spend the number 1 overall, or the number 5 overall pick there? I would rather go Jordan Tyson. I'd rather go with Arvell Reese. I'd rather go with one of those guys here at this number 5 overall pick. Oh, also my grade for this one, I give it a C. This one I would give probably like a C as well. I just feel like there's other players on the board that I'd rather hit on some positions. But that's just me, not to discredit Caleb Downs or Keldrick Folk, both good football players. Now here's the man of the hour, Arvell Reese, The Ohio State University. Mickey Loomis gets himself a jack of all trades, man. That could be the next Micah Parsons. We say that every year, I know now, but this dude legit has power for days. He can bull rush offensive tackle. Like, he does not look outmatched versus full-on sized interior offensive tackles. He is that dude, okay? He's got play strength, even though he's not the biggest guy. He's got good length. I think he's got better length than guys like Micah Parsons or even Abdul Carter, possibly. I don't know. He's got some dang good length to him. I'm curious to see what those numbers come in on Reese, but he does look like he has some good length where if he wanted to, he could play edge rusher. I really believe that. Watching more and more of Arvell Reese, it's not unlikely. I'm just saying that right now. And I think his impact is worth the number 6 overall pick. I love this one. I did this mock draft, or for my mock draft yesterday. I give this a plus maneuver for Mickey Loomis and this football team, especially with the way Spencer Rattler's been playing. Continue to improve the roster. Arvell Reese, even if he's just linebacker, well, Demario Davis getting a little bit older now, and you need to start thinking about that as well. And Arvell Reese brings you that dog. Giants. This is BPA Jordan Tyson. Oh, that's insane. Him and Malik Neighbors. Oh, I get it. Like, you have Wandell, and it's not the biggest need too. You got Slayton. Now, Slayton's been a little bit quiet this year. Maybe it's just not having a good season. Connection, still working around that. But for right now, I wouldn't hate this one because at the same time, you can still work out another wide receiver in here. And maybe this gives Malik Neighbors more time with that torn ACL to really get yourself another weapon in here for Jackson Dart. I'm going to give this one a solid A pick, even though offensive line obviously is something you have to consider, or even maybe if Arvell Reese is here, you consider something like that. I think this is a great pick, just BPA wise, and I'm not passing up on a top 3 football player in the draft class just for a different position per se either. So I give it a solid A minus on that pick. On to the Arizona Cardinals, Spencer Fennu. Take yourself a tackle here. I like this one a lot, and I think Robin Williams would too. I love Robin Williams, man. He's a dog. Robin Williams is S tier all day. Love his movies. Love him. He's just one of the funniest dudes I've ever watched. But going back to this here, Spencer Fanu is going to be a good selection for the Cardinals. They need a right tackle. This is an A+ pick for them. They've struggled on the offensive line this year, and it's been a bit of a surprise. They've taken a step back. Especially on that interior, they've taken a step back. So they need to improve their offensive line quite a bit, and Fanu could help do that. I mean, Fanu hasn't put up the tape maybe that we were looking for that next step this year. He still struggles a little bit with balance at times, and also his hand technique is really what gets him into trouble, in my opinion. He doesn't have crazy length, so he's not going to end up winning length battles a whole ton. But he does have an insanely high floor because of that. Lateral agility and athleticism is crazy good. Raiders, Lenora Sellers. Woo! Okay, let me think about this one, because Sellers would be the ultimate stash and develop guy here that could sit for 2 years behind Geno Smith if you needed him to. Now, Geno, you can get off of his contract right away if you really had to. You could get, it's not like that money is fully guaranteed or anything like that. It's something you could do. At the same time, Sellers would be a guy you would draft and you would develop for a season at minimum, in my eyes. I don't mind this pick, though. I will give this one a solid A-. Geno has not looked great, but it's not all on Geno either, because I got to be honest, this football team right now is a little bit of a mess. They had a good game versus the Titans, and the Titans right now obviously were a mess, and they have been a mess, so there's that. But Geno Smith did play better in that one. It looked a lot more under control, only made like one bad throw in that entire game. Overall, quarterback of the future is still very much in play for this football team, as is fixing the offensive line some more, the defensive line, the corner room. They've got a lot of areas. Even though the corner room actually played pretty good again versus the Titans. They did a good job. Linebacker could be something, you name it. They've got a lot of areas on this roster that have to be really considered when you're going into this draft too. If you take the long-term approach, though, the Norris Sellers, I definitely would give that one a solid A-, thinking about that future there and a guy with upside that could be a really good player. Cincinnati Bengals, Peter Woods, they've drafted a lot of defensive tackles. They've drafted a lot of defensive linemen in the past couple of years. And you can always continue to invest in the defensive line. So while I don't hate the idea of saying, let's, continue to get guys, and I'm not going to pass up on a stud either. So I'm going to give this one a solid, like A-, B+, because I think Peter Woods is a top 5 level player in this draft class, which I know I hesitate on that. He's right in that range. I would definitely say he's a top 10 player. So just going BPA for Tobin and him as the GM and this football team is never a bad approach. And I'll never knock you for that. I think Peter Woods is a great football player that's going to be an immediate impact and would be a star in their room for their team. So I will be 100% down with this. Do they have some other needs on the roster, like maybe like a cornerback if Cam Taylor-Britt walks out, or maybe they let him go? So Daxton Hill on the slot, maybe TJ Turner, who actually is playing really good right now. I will say he had a great game versus Green Bay. They could look at offensive line, which is the number one need. Fanu is off the board, but Maui Noah is still available. So it would be a toss-up between Peter Woods and Francis Maui Noah. I think Maui Noah would be a day one plug-and-play guy over at right guard for them if they wanted to. Or, hey, put Mims at left tackle or put Maui Noah at left tackle. I don't know. You could get a little hesitant on whether or not you feel like Maui Noah has the overall lateral agility to play left tackle or even a tackle at the NFL level. That's why some people are going to say put him at guard, and that's ultimately either which way. I think that he is going to be a really good offensive lineman. I think his tape is really, really good. Reminds me of like Darnell Wright. Peter Woods, though, is a good player too. So I'm okay with this one. I just think maybe you need to go with maybe somebody like Francis Maui Noah, Houston Texans. I'm going to give this one an A. I think Maui Noah is a really good football player as well. I have him a top 10 player in this draft class. And whether he plays at guard or plays at tackle, they can work that out because, hey, they've tried and they haven't been able to hit on Fisher, and Howard can move inside the guard if they need to, or just keep him up as a swing tackle. Maui Noah could be a starter at one of those positions, whether it's right guard or right tackle. Need help on that offense line for the Houston Texans. Dependable pass protector. Strong, physical. Yeah, absolutely. Good pick there. I give that one an A. On to the Cowboys. David Bailey. Add some more juice off the edge with Ezeraku. I love Ez. Now you bring in David Bailey. Oh, whew, man. Marshawn Nealand in there. That's your group of 3, your young tandem, your young little trifecta out there. And with this one, I will definitely give that one a solid A pick. There might be some other needs they need to address, like the secondary. Cornerback Mansour Delane, we're going to see here in a minute, would maybe be the A+ pick for me at this point. But Bailey's a great football player. He might be more of a DPR, especially early on in his career. He's going to have to continue to add more play strength and get a little bit more meat, a little bit more muscle mass on those bones, but he definitely has. He brings it, though, off the edge as a serious disruptor. Micah Parsons, hopefully, replacement type in this defense. Hey, I think as it can be there. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Micah, but he definitely has got some beef there to be a really good player for them. On to the Carolina Panthers, Mansour Delane. Oh, pair him up there. Mike Jackson can be a good backup for them. Hey, move. You could rock in Jackson over in the slot, I feel like, or J.C. Horn has versatility. They can figure something out between those 3 group of corners. You got Chai Smith-Wade in there, who's currently in the slot role. However, maybe he could turn into more of a backup and a rotational player, and you need depth in that corner room. So I have no problem with this one. It is something that is an area that they can improve upon. Hey, they just saw George Pickens destroy that secondary, whether it was Jackson or even J.C. Horn. He got the better of a couple of times, and George Pickens is playing on a different level right now, so there's that. But Mansour Delane is a nice little add here. I give this one a nice solid. I give it a good A-. Hey, I think that's a good pick. I'm trying to think. Other areas you could go on this roster would be defensive line. So yeah, I think I'd give this one a solid A. I think that's a really good pick for them. Linebacker, of course, Sonny Styles potentially, but I think Mansour Delane's a great football player. KC, Jeremiah Love. Air Love, as I like to call him. This is an A move here for the Chiefs, who need a running back. Once again, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be picking here at number 14 overall, but that's just what it is, and that's where the current standings are at, so I have to respect that. You go get yourself a Jahmyr Gibbs-like player. Okay. I wouldn't call him that level of explosiveness, but he definitely has some speed. I'll say that. He's more of a long speed guy. I don't know if he has that quick twitch burst as Gibbs does, but he does have explosiveness too. He's definitely no schmuck. He's a good football player, and he would add somebody that's going to help out Patrick Mahomes in the receiving game and also give them a more complete run game because I believe Patrick Mahomes is still the number one rusher on that football team. It would be nice to have a good running back. It would be, or at least some sort of back in there. On to the Commanders, and that's no against what they've been able to find with Kareem Hunt, who's had some nice plays, and Isaiah Pacheco too, who's looking better. Commanders here, they're taking Kenyon Sadiq. I did this one actually a week ago in my mock draft, and it is an interesting little fit into this offense. You haven't seen enough of Sanat, so maybe they're saying, hey, we'll go get a pass catcher. Sanat could be a really good blocker for us, an inline mover guy. And you get yourself that pass catcher, another weapon, another Debo Samuel type of player here. Sadiq's a good football player. He's been a little inconsistent for the Ducks, but there's no doubt the talent is there with Sadiq. He has got some good pass. He has got some really good pass catching ability with his vertical stretching. Like, it's tough for linebackers to stick with him. And for safeties, he's got good enough size where he's going to make you look silly. And then also combination, he is a tough blocker as well. Like, the guy can block. So overall, I give this one a solid B. There might be other needs for the Commanders, such as edge rushers, such as maybe a cornerback. So would I rather lean into going with a Cassius Howell possibly at this point? Yeah, that would be more of an A pick for me, or a cornerback like a Jamon McCoy here. Maybe he's worth taking a gamble on at number 15 overall. Yeah, I definitely would consider that. So those would be probably my A picks. On to the Minnesota Vikings. Skull, skull, skull. Avion Terrell. Going to be the pick here from Clemson. And I think that Terrell's a really good football player. And whether you put him in the slot or you move Murphy into the slot, and then you got Isaiah Rodgers, that'd be your new little tandem. Now, Rodgers going to, he is a free agent. So, they may not be able to pay both Rodgers and Murphy, especially with the way Rodgers has played this season. He's going to earn a little chunk. He's going to earn some money. I'll say that. So, Terrell would certainly fill that void if you lose Isaiah Rodgers. And even if you bring back Rodgers, you're going to still need another corner. And either which way, I think that's a really good move. And I'm going to give this one a solid A pick for the Vikings, sitting at 3-2. Chicago, the Bears. What a great win over the Commanders. TJ Parker, going to add some more pass rush into the room. And I will say that they could add some more pass rush. I thought Dominique Robinson was their best pass rusher actually versus the Commanders this past week. He had a good game. He did. Number 90, I kept noticing him. Either which way, Montez Sweat's getting a little bit older now. They could move on from his contract. They did pay Odengbo, and he's a solid player, but they still could use more pass rush. Austin Booker's been a little injured. He's been great at preseason. Want to continue to see more of him. Parker continues to add to that. Now, I'm a little lower on Parker, so I'm going to give this one like a B+, just strictly because maybe of the player. I would rather go with a guy like Cassius Howell, or let me think who else is on the board right now. I mean, you talk about Romello Hyatt's, LT Overton's, those type of guys. I'm higher on. Parker, I just need to see a little bit more. Heck, I kind of like Will Helt a little bit more over at Clemson than Parker at the moment. So that's just my opinion. I understand traits, and at the end of the day, a lot of these traits will determine with edge rushers, especially. You got to have those, man. You really do. I just want to see a little more creativity with his pass rush, with his hands, and being able to get off a player's a little bit more rather than just running the bull rush down the chest. On to the Rams. Caleb Lomo, tackle, Utah. He is a good football player. I know you're going to point to the Texas Tech game. That pass rush at Texas Tech is incredible. Okay, they just are. They pin their ears back. Romello Height and David Bailey, Gil Howard. I mean, across Lee Hunter. They got dogs on that defense. They really do. Caleb Lomu would be a nice tackle put him over right tackle. I like this pick a lot. I give it an A. You can talk about quarterback. I understand that, but they don't have to rush that pick. You can get somebody with your other first-round pick. You can get somebody in the second round there to be able to develop behind Matthew Stafford. This one is a really good pick for them to be a plug-and-play right tackle. Havenstein at this point, too, with his injuries, starting to pile up a little bit. They need a longer-term blocker. He is 33, so there's all that. He's a free agent, of course, so I think that's an excellent pick. Lomu, once again, maybe not having the season you're looking for, but I still think he is a really good prospect, and I feel comfortable at 18 to take him there. A move. Bills, C.J. Allen. Ooh, Bills, 19. Wow, once again, interesting. I'm curious to see what they have in the Super Bowl right now. Well, C.J. Allen, though, a really good football player, and this sums it up. A run and chase linebacker. That is what he is to a T. He's the best at that in this draft class, maybe other than Arvell Reese, because Arvell Reese is insane, but C.J. Allen's a really good football player, and he's going to be a guy that can help fill in for Matt Milano, who they've, just unfortunately at this point, injuries have really derailed his career. Great football player, just injuries can happen, and that's what it is. And then you've got Terrell Bernard, who's been a little banged up too, but T.J. Allen and Terrell Bernard, Dorian Williams, that'd be your group of three. They need some help in that linebacker room. It has been a bit of a weakness for this Buffalo Bill team. I think that's a solid B-plus pick for me. I still would very much consider offensive line here as well. Overall, that's a pretty good pick. I think that C.J. Allen's a good football player, maybe a little high. At the same time, I do think it is a need for them, and that's why I'm going to go with a B+. Detroit Lions, LT Overton. I'm going to give this one a solid A. I love Overton. They list him as a defensive tackle. Now, for this defense, he could play a little DT. He can play across the defensive line. He does. He plays 3-tech all the way out to 7. So he is a guy that can stand up. He can rush on the interior. He can do it all. He really can. I think he's got extremely good hand strength as well. I see him consistently winning, shedding. He's not always going to be that guy that gets to the quarterback in the flashy David Bailey ways. He is really good when it comes to controlling the point of attack, reading the eyes, stacking, and shedding. That is his game, and it's his game to a T, and that is going to be a very good combination with this guy right here, Aiden Hutchinson, who is going to be a good 1-2 punch. I love that pick there. And they love Alabama football players, and I think it's worked for them. So on to the Chargers. Amari Washington, Oregon State. I said that funny. Amari Washington over there at Oregon. And he is going to be that developmental upside pass rusher that the Chargers could use. They've got Caldwell. They've got Tart. They've got some good solid run defenders, and Hand's been able to be okay as a pass rusher, and Justin Agoigbe. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Another Alabama player, but there, I think Washington would be that guy in there for the future. Now getting somebody on a contract with Caldwell to be a really good football player to help that defense line even more. I like that one. I'm going to go with an A- because Washington is still a bit of a raw prospect. He doesn't know how to use his hands just yet, but the dude has monster length and he's explosive. He always seems to be the first guy off that Oregon defensive line. He beats Uyunglele, beats everybody really on that Oregon defensive line. Really explosive guy. He has so much upside. Just needs to get a little bit better in run game as well and his leverage. Patriots, Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver, A+. I don't care. At this value at 22, Mekhi Lemon is worth taking, even if it's not a position of need. Diggs you can move on from if you need to, and Diggs has played well this season. So has Booty. Booty has been awesome, man. He really has been. So he's clearly gotten stronger with his hands. That's been a big thing with Booty, is he's really put the time and effort in things and gotten stronger with his hands, and he is a different wide receiver, and he's a really more complete wide receiver. But you could pair up him with Mekhi Lemon and have that as your 1-2 punch for Drake May of the future. This is a too good of a value. I'd take Carnell Tate if he is still available. So I would take either one of those guys, even if you're looking at maybe saying, hey, we need an edge rusher too. We could use, maybe a linebacker. They're fine. Ellis is just coming off of a really good game. I think they're in a solid position there in general. So I think that this is a great pick and one that I have an A+ move right there. Denver Broncos, Sonny Styles. I like this one too. I give it a good A. I think it's a solid value for Sonny Styles at 23. And yeah, he's an off-the-ball linebacker. But at this point in the draft, I think Sonny Styles is a top 15 player just purely in the draft. Even if you take out positional value, especially. And with Greenlaw and his injuries at this point, you want to continue to invest in that. Singleton's getting a little bit older now, and he's becoming a free agent. So all those things to me would make a lot of sense to go get yourself a nice little Sonny player and Sonny Styles, the Ohio State University. On to the Rams, Jermon McCoy. This is an A+ pick. At 24, I'm taking the chance on McCoy. This guy could be a lockdown corner. He could be their Jalen Ramsey replacement. So for the Rams, this is a great draft. I mean, this would be a dream draft, in my opinion, for the Rams. Getting yourself a tackle and Caleb Lomu with their first pick, and then you're getting a really good corner with some size. Want to get somebody else opposite of Durant, and Durant has struggled a little bit since Mikael Witherspoon's been out. I see him getting picked on a lot more. So you get somebody with some size in here with McCoy, and that would be a great little combination in their secondary, and two great draft picks. So overall for the Rams, I'm giving them an A+ draft so far. Let's go on here to the Browns, and they're taking Carnell Tate. This is a great pick. I'm going to go A+ here as well. Carnell Tate is another top 15 player in this draft class, in my opinion. He's making the argument for top 10 right now with the way he's playing out there. And Yeah, Jeremiah Smith will take away a little bit of the coverage, make things a little easier for Carnell Tate. I get it. Maybe he's not a true number one at the next level, but I think he's going to be a good player. He's got extremely dependable hands, which right now the Browns don't know a thing about dependable hands. I'll just be honest. They could use a little bit more dependability in their wide receiving room. And I think Carnell Tate could bring that to that. And also, you get yourself a quarterback in Dante Moore. So you pair him up there into that wide receiving room with Judy. On to the 49ers, Caden Proctor, the Alabama tackle. I've done this in a mock draft, and this is one of my favorite picks here, too, fit-wise. I think that Shanahan's going to watch this guy and what he can do on the move and say, okay, all right, Trent Williams 2.0. I got you. Trent, we're going to go get ourselves that guy of the future. Caden Proctor would be a swing tackle early on. And then, hey, I mean, Trent Williams could retire after this season too, so don't rule that out. It is definitely something they need to consider in this draft. And Proctor would be a great addition to the football team as a guy that has a lot of upside if he can work on his leverage and his hand technique. Those are the two things. I'm higher on, I don't have a problem and call him Evan Neal. I don't think he's Evan Neal. He has a better lateral. He's a more nimble, way more nimble athlete, in my opinion, than Evan Neal is. He actually has some lateral juice there. Evan Neal was kind of I feel like had really heavy feet. I think Proctor has quicker feet and he's going to be able to handle that a lot better. And combined with his monster wingspan and his monster frame and size, there's that. On to the Eagles. It's sometimes, I don't know, helmet scouting can be tough. Go with Alex Leatherwoods, and you can even say, is Marriott Mims, working out for the Bengals. So that's hard, right? Sometimes it is what it is. But at the same time, you got to be careful with the helmet scouting. On to the Eagles, Joshua Josephs. I'm glad this guy's getting some love. He's a really good football player. He really is. And it's like this guy reminds me a little bit of an Ezaraku type of player. And at the end of the first round, I think it makes sense, even despite the fact that he doesn't have elite size. He's got really good length. And he doesn't lose to run in the run game all that much either. He's strong at the point of attack. I think he'll be a day one impact for this football team, and they could really use some more help off the edge. I completely agree with that. Azeez Ojulari's been fine. Nolan Smith I haven't seen as much of this season. But, they need some more help. So I think Joshua Josephs is a really good football player from Tennessee. And he's got some good bend, and he's been a consistent presence. You could definitely go take a look at that Georgia tape. He was there, man. And if they wouldn't have kind of blown it there at the end and whatnot, I think that they would all be talking about that Joshua Joseph strip sack. Also, I forgot to give some grades for these. So Proctor, I give it an A+. I love that pick. I love that fit. I think that'd be crazy. And then Eagles, Joshua Josephs, I give that one a solid A-, B+, A-. I think that's a good pick. I do. And they need more pass rush, so Seattle on we go, and Anthony Hill Jr., Texas linebacker. That's maybe a little high for Anthony Hill, but he's a good football player. He really is. He's all around the football field, and they've struggled at linebacker this year. So, you got Ernest Jones. Tyrese Knight has had a rough season. They've had to rely on Drake Thomas there. So that is clear that I could totally see them going after a linebacker this offseason. I still think that we have to consider, all possibilities with this football team, because cornerback is a position as well that they could really target here in terms of corners that are available. I mean, Will Lee's on the board that they could go after, especially in terms of a Tyreek Woolen replacement. I think Will Lee would be an excellent player to add to the secondary. I do think Anthony Hill is a good football player. When you're getting into this range, I get it. I think that's a solid option, and Anthony Hill is definitely a playmaker at that linebacker position. I'll give this one a solid B. I think he definitely has he would fill a nice role for them next to Ernest Jones as just a do-it-all chase guy. On to the Cowboys here. Caleb Banks. I like Banks a lot. I really do. It's the injury with the foot. And when you're talking about this sort of thing, you worry, is it going to be a long-term issue, or is it just something that's happened? Because we just don't really know, and that's going to be something that they're going to have to really talk about with Banks and that injury history. Strictly as a football player, I would give this one A+ pick, because you can never have too many good interior, or defensive linemen in general. So they basically just beef up their trenches the whole time. Now their secondary is still going to be screwed, so there's that. I guess they're taking the Miami Dolphins approach. So that's the only thing, and that's why I'm going to lower the grade on this to a B+. It's nothing against Banks. I think he's a great football player, and that's why it is a B or a B+. It's just they have other needs, such as corner, secondary. I'd even consider a safety here. Dylan Thieneman, or Kamari Ramsey. I love Ramsey a lot. I'm really high on Ramsey. I think he's going to be an excellent football player. their secondary needs some serious attention. So that, to me, you can't ignore it all the time. Just say, oh, we're gonna hope Diggs continues to get better or whatever. That would be an area that they have to improve upon. Pittsburgh, Ty Simpson. Oh, here we go, Ty Simpson. As I was waiting for Ty Simpson, here he is, the Alabama quarterback, off the board for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ty Simpson's been really good this season. He really has. I think he, as I said yesterday, he kind of reminds me a little bit like Sam Darnold with a J.J. McCarthy type of throw style and arm talent. But he has a little bit of Sam Darnold tendencies, good and the bad. I think he'll have some times where he doesn't quite, he'll try to fit things a little bit into too tight a window here and there. But overall, Simpson, you see him out there calling the protections. I know that's a big thing. Which he does, and that's credit to Simpson and what he's had time to learn and develop, and he's clearly taken that time to heart and really gotten all those things down there. And you can see it's come together. He can read the football field. He'll go through his progressions, get to 1 to 2 to the backside dig consistently. And you need to be able to do that in the NFL. Pittsburgh's been looking for their cornerback for a long time, and hopefully they found it here. Will Howard, though, hey, you never know about Will Howard. I won't rule that one out. But Pittsburgh, they go get their quarterback of the future. On to the Indianapolis Colts. Damon Wilson, okay, the Missouri edge rusher. Yes, yes, yes. I think that Wilson is a guy that could get a big-time rise here soon. I was watching him inadvertently in that Alabama game, made some big-time plays there, and he's been a very good football player. So he was a Georgia transfer. He's got a lot of traits. You know that. We'll see what happens for the Colts. They could use another edge rusher with Leatu. Kwity Paye is a unrestricted free agent, so there's that. That's going to be something to consider. Overall, is it their top need? No, because they did draft JT Tuimoloau, which I was blanking on his name pretty hard there. JT, how can I forget your name, man? I'm sorry, JT Tuimoloau. And that would be the one thing there, is that you're going to be able to have him coming into next season as hopefully a guy, if they do let go Kwity Paye, to be a helpful replacement. But Wilson's an interesting pick, so I'll give him that. And a lot of times these mock drafters, they will put players at the end of the first round that they're trying to highlight. So I also get that. And I think Wilson's he's a good guy to highlight. Here's a good guy to highlight, too, to finish up this draft. It's Cassius Howe. Ooh, Cassius, man. And I love that name, Cassius Howe, because that man is howling off the edge constantly. He would be another Texas Tech edge rusher that goes in the first round, but I think he's better than... Nick Scourton's a good football player. I think Scourton was definitely being a little underrated, and going in the second round is kind of a little bit shocking. Shamar Stewart, though, was basically traits-based prospect, and Hal is the opposite. He's not a traits-based prospect. He is a production prospect. He wins, and he wins consistently. In the run game, too, despite 30-inch arms, he wins consistently in the run game and is a finisher, as a sack artist. He has it all. I really do like him. And if Reddick does not come back, well, boom, you got yourself some more help off the edge. And Cassius Howe, I'm going to give that one an A. I think that value, even though with the traits, is great for Todd Bowles. I'll give this one I'm going to go with a B-. I still think there's some other positions the Colts could possibly hit. Now, linebacker, I don't know if they're going to go with linebacker 5 at this point off the board. You could look at right tackle if you don't feel confident with Jalen Travis. So there's still a couple of guys here I would consider, such as Drew Shelton. What other positions could you look at this point? Corner depth certainly wouldn't be the worst thing, but you got Wally to go in there with Ward and more. So they've got 3 guys in there. Safety could be something, considering if Nick Cross ends up walking in free agency, that they could look at. It's going to come down to where they want to improve this offseason, where they're at, and we'll see how Wilson continues to come along there. So recapping everything up, man, I enjoyed it. It was a good one. I thought there were some really good fits in this one. Of course, there's always sometimes you're going to question some picks, but in general, I thought it was a fun mock draft. And let me know what you think. Everything is better with bullion. Okay, interesting. I don't use bullion, but I do want to do this Tai Chi program. Don't forget about the Tai Chi program, man. Like I said, ninjas. We're all ninjas out here. I'm mad. But I hope you guys have a good day, and keep it cool, and it's fun. I love it. Mel Kiper, he's like, what is going on out here?